Hi, my name is Evan Archella, and I'm going to walk you through some tips and tricks for Microsoft Outlook 2010. This particular demonstration is for those of you who are upgrading to Outlook 2010 from Outlook 2003. You're going to see some features today and some capabilities that are new to Outlook 2010, but also things that you may have missed in Outlook 2007, being that you're upgrading from the 2003 version straight through to Outlook 2010. We're going to look at the presentation today across a few key areas. We're going to talk about bringing your ideas to life. I'm going to show you some ways to create some more compelling email content with images and diagrams, being able to take advantage of the new Outlook interface for styles, formatting, other types of things like that as it relates to your email communication. We're also going to talk about working together more effectively as it relates to working in email conversations, working within your calendar, and we'll also look at anywhere access to your work. And we'll talk about not only using Outlook on the desktop, but also being able to use the Outlook web application in the browser, as well as being able to synchronize down to a mobile device. So we'll look at these things throughout the course of the demonstration today. Again, this is mostly targeted to those of you upgrading from the Outlook 2003 product. This is Outlook 2010. If you're coming to this and looking at this for the first time, you're going to see it looks quite a bit different than what you might be used to. At the top here, you'll see that you have what we call the ribbon and the command tabs. Now, the ribbon was introduced in Office 2007, but within the Outlook environment, it was only in the actual message views, or if you opened up a calendar item or a contact, but it wasn't actually in what I would call the main Outlook console here. But you can see now this has been upgraded to include the full capabilities of that ribbon. The ribbon is a way to organize or structure commands within the environment here according to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And within each of these tabs, you're going to find groups of commands and then commands that are relevant to that particular action. So, for example, here in the console, I can click on the Send and Receive tab to govern how I might send and receive different email accounts that I have within the system here. The Folder tab, for example, is how you might want to manage your Outlook folders or even create new folders. You can see I can click a command straight here within the context of the ribbon. Let's just call this folder Proposals, for example. Click OK, and I've now created a folder using a command that was available to me within the ribbon. Go back over to the Home tab for a second. I want to point out one of the command groups here in particular. It's called Quick Steps. Quick Steps you'll see right over here, right in the middle of that Home tab. This is a group of commands that are essentially shortcut commands that allow you to take quick action on items that are within your inbox in this case. You can use these as is. You can customize them. You can create new quick steps as well. I'm going to show you kind of a couple of ways to think about that. For example, let's say I had an email that came in, and you can see this first one here is about a proposal for one of our accounts. Well, I want to move that over to that proposals folder that I just created. So I'm going to hit the Move to Quick Step, and the first time I click it, it's going to allow me to define that particular step. So I'm going to choose the proposals folder, and when I save that, you'll notice now that I have a proposals quick step. So anytime I get a message that's related to proposals, I can just simply hit the quick step and it moves it directly over to that folder. So you can see it's moved here. I didn't have to drag and drop or anything. I just simply hit the quick step for proposals and it moved over directly into that new folder. Other quick steps, you can mark items as complete. Team email, it'll look at your Exchange address book and fire up an email of those peers that are listed for you within the Active Directory. Same thing with your manager. Replying and deleting is a nice one. You can reply to a message and get rid of the original in the same step. So a number of ways to think about these. You also have the opportunity of creating new quick steps. So if I just show you some of the actions that are available here, you'll see that you have a number of different things that you can automate using the process of quick steps, and that's a new group on the Home tab of the Outlook 2010 interface. Let's look at this a little bit differently. Here I'm going to go into the Drafts folder, and open up a message that I have here within drafts. I want to show you how the ribbon kind of comes across this environment here as well. And you'll find, an insert tab. Format text is the one I'm going to show you here, where you have some more detailed and richer formatting options that you may want to take advantage of. As you work through Office 2010 and Outlook 2010, you're going to see not only the ribbon and the tabs, but you're also going to see things that we call galleries. Galleries, this is a styles gallery. You may have seen this in Word. Styles are basically predefined formatting. So rather than have to manually format something, you can use a style to apply certain characteristics with just basically one click. The nice thing about a gallery is you are able to see within the gallery visually what a particular style will look like. And you also have something we call live preview. So for example, if I was to hover over one of these styles, if you look at the body of my email message, you'll see as I hover that style is shown to me in the context of my email as it would appear if I was actually to select that particular style. Now, this is the first line of text in my email message, so I'm probably looking to do a title style, so that's the one that I'm going to click here. Also want to look at the second line of text here. Let's go ahead and drop this down and put in a subtitle style. So you can see it's a couple of clicks, and I've already kind of started to mark up and format that in a much richer way, much faster than I might be able to otherwise. Let me show you here on this chart. If I click this, you're going to notice some chart tools show up at the top here: design and layout and format. This is what we call a contextual ribbon tab. That means it only shows up in the context in which I actually need to use it. So if I didn't have a chart in this document, or if I wasn't actively selecting that chart and working on it, I wouldn't see the chart tools. They would be hidden from view because I don't need them at that time, and there's no reason to distract me or confuse me with other tabs or commands that I might want to take advantage of. So as I click off of that chart, you'll notice that contextual ribbon tab disappears as well. Now, you can see the commands here within the ribbon. Sometimes you may not exactly find what it is you're looking for at that particular time. These little arrows that you see at the bottom right of some of these groups, that's called a dialog box launcher, and the reason it's called that is if you click it, you will see your old interface dialog boxes here. So if you're used to working in dialog boxes, you want to get down and kind of tweak some more of the advanced settings here, you can do that by just simply opening up the familiar looking dialog box and begin to make those adjustments. Also, let me just point out for you a couple of other things here. This is called the Quick Access Toolbar. This is where you're going to find all of those things that you access frequently, like save and undo and redo. The nice thing about this is it can be customized. So for example, if I drop down this drop down, I've added spelling and grammar to this Quick Access Toolbar. You can add other things here as well. You can go into more commands and pick other things that you may want to put on here. You also have the ability within 2010 to customize the ribbon itself. So if you want to add your own custom tabs and your own custom groups of commands to those tabs, you can do that as well by going into the options view of Outlook and making some of those adjustments. Let me go ahead and close this. I'm going to save this email message here. We're going to come back to it a little bit later within the demonstration. Let me show you something else we call Backstage View. You'll notice a File tab here right below. Here's the Quick Access Toolbar in the console. Hit the File tab, and you'll notice here in Backstage View all of those account management settings that you're used to looking for within like an options panel or an options dialog within previous versions of Outlook. What you'll have here is the ability to adjust your account settings. For example, add additional accounts. You can have more than one Exchange account in Outlook 2010 with Exchange 2010, and you also have automatic replies. So this is your out-of-office assistant. You can turn it on from here. You can actually schedule it to come on and off at a specific time, and you can also create a separate message for external recipients. So if you want to say something differently inside the organization versus outside the organization about your reasons for being out of the office, or maybe including different types of contact information, you can do that here as well. You'll notice on the Open tab here, this is where your import capabilities are, data files, other things that you want to do here, and also on the Print tab, you have a combined view of your print options plus a print preview in the right-hand side there. So you kind of get everything pulled into one view. Makes it easier to be able to print and work with that type of information. Right below that, you'll see Help. If you're new to this, as most of you probably are coming from Office 2003, you may want to go into the Getting Started area, which will take you out to the Microsoft Office website, and here you'll see Find Commands in Office 2010. If you go to that, it'll take you to a page where you can browse through the interactive guides for these products. Interactive guides will basically give you a virtual environment with which to click around in Office 2003, the interface, and it will actually roll over and show you where those commands live now within Office 2010. So it's a very powerful set of tools and will help you to get up to speed on how to work within this new environment. Close out of my browser, and let's go back over here to the inbox for a few minutes. I want to talk about bringing our ideas to life here within Outlook, and I'm going to kind of lead into this a little bit as we start to work on an email message. First of all, I want to talk for a second about the new search tools. You'll notice a search field up here at the top. If I click that search field, you'll see a contextual command tab for search, and this is going to have a lot of capabilities for you in terms of being able to find what it is that you're looking for within your inbox. So I'm going to just do a search for the word sales, and you can see here that I have different emails now available to me as it relates to sales. Well, what if I'm looking for one that has an attachment in particular? You can see up here in the ribbon I have a command for has attachments. Let's click it. I can further refine that information so that these are emails that have the keyword sales, but they also have attachments. You can use these search tools to refine and be able to find what it is that you're looking for fairly quickly. I also want to show you here, you can see I have an Excel sheet attached. That's the attachment here. Office has built-in viewers within Outlook 2010, which allows you to preview those attachments within the context of the reading pane. So if you simply single click that attachment, it'll go into a preview view and you can actually see what's inside that attachment from here. If you click on message, you will return to the traditional message view of that attachment. Let me click the X here and clear out that search result. And I want to talk about a couple of things here. So this is related to sales, and she's asking me about the quarterly review that I'm supposed to be putting together. So a couple things that I want to do here. First of all, you can see these two icons right here to the right of the message. This is categories, this is tasks. We're going to talk about both of those here. Categories, if I was to right-click this button here, you'll see I have a number of different categories that I could choose from. Now, a colored category, these have been customized, and I'm going to show you that here in just a second. But this is really just a subjective way for you to be able to relate information to each other. So for example, you can see here for me, orange is sales. So whenever I see orange in my inbox or my calendar, I know it somehow relates to sales because I'm starting to categorize it visually for myself. Now if I go to all categories here, what I'd like to do actually is create a new category. So let's create a category for Asia Pacific region here. We call it APAC. And I'm going to select a color. And I've now given myself a new category that relates specifically to sales from this region. Now I'm going to click sales here as well. So I've checked actually both categories. Click OK, and you will now see that I've categorized that message. You can see it up here across the top as well. Now you can search and filter on these categories. They're easy to find later on, but it helps me subjectively to be able to get a sense of what this information relates to. Now that doesn't necessarily help me though if this is something I need to take action on. And in this case, she's asking me to when can she expect the quarterly review, which I'm still working on, so I need to go ahead and get that finished. So I'm going to right-click the task flag here, and you'll notice that I have a number of options I can choose from. I can do it today or tomorrow, or put a custom date on it, and set that information here within the context of the inbox. What I'm actually going to do here is just click this for today. We're going to go ahead and take care of it right now. And I want you to notice this has been flagged for follow-up. And if I go down here to tasks in the bottom left-hand corner, you're also going to see that that has been flagged as an email within my tasks folder. So notice here it's got a little email icon. That tells me it's an email task, and it's here in my to-do list, and it gives me something now that I can take action on within the context of Outlook. Now it doesn't stop here with your tasks list. If you go over to your calendar, You can see over here that I have APAC sales beneath our tasks list here for that specific day. The advantage of having a daily tasks view below your calendar is that you can now actually take a task and just simply drag it up and drop it on the calendar. When you drop it on the calendar, it's now there for you, and you've given yourself time to be able to work on that information. On the mail view, also show you what we have called the to-do bar. You'll see it on the right-hand side here. If I just click this, it'll expand it out. You can see your upcoming meetings, your upcoming tasks, and you can see there's that task for sales, and there's the one I just dragged and dropped onto my calendar. So I know that that's something I need to deal with. That's coming up very soon, and this gives me that all-up view of it without having to flip back and forth between all of the different areas of Outlook. Alright, so let's work on this. This is something I need to put together, and I've already started it over here in my drafts folder. So let's go ahead and open this up. And we did a little bit of styles and formatting earlier. What we're going to do now is talk about really bringing our ideas to life here with a number of different capabilities that we can incorporate into this message so that it's more than just text. So let's go down. I'm going to scroll down below our chart here. And what I'd like to do in this area here is insert what we call a smart art diagram. Now, if you look at these lists of success here, product, service, value, these are all the things that are important to us. That's what's going to determine whether or not we're successful. Now, it works as a bulleted list. That's fine. Bullets are very easy to read, but I might want to demonstrate this a little bit more visually for the readers of this particular message. So I'm going to click the Insert tab because what I want to do is actually insert a piece of smart art. Now, smart art is a diagramming capability, and if I just click, let's say, relationship, for example, and I really like this funnel, just kind of is a good representation of putting ideas in and getting a result out of the other side. So let's click OK. And you can see now I've got a diagram here. It put it in automatically. I didn't have to manually create this using different types of shapes, though the shape tools are still available for me if I need them. What I'm going to do here is go ahead and just start typing in these bullets again. So let's put in our products and our service and our value and our success. Okay, so now I've added that. You can see that the smart art is now encompassing that information. What I want to do now is come up here to my contextual tab for my smart art. I'm going to make this a little bit more colorful here, and I'm also going to add a 3D style to it so you can get a sense of a little bit more depth on that particular diagram. So now I've got a way to demonstrate that information very visually in a way that those bullets just don't quite convey. Let's go down and look at some other things here. Here I have an image within the context of this email message. We're talking about our market challenges here, and we just kind of select this image. We have an international market at this particular company, and that's what I'm trying to demonstrate here, is that we have some challenges with our overseas market. This is a picture of Prague. And anybody who has seen pictures of Prague will probably identify this as that city. I want to be a little bit more generic with this. So what I'm going to do is crop it down. You can see I have picture tools across the top here. Number of ways that I can deal with this particular image. I'm going to crop it first. So what I want to do here is actually just drag it down and resize it a little bit there by taking out the extraneous information within the photograph. So let's just go ahead and crop it out. Now I've taken out kind of one of the landmarks of Prague. So what you see here now are just some international looking buildings. You can kind of get a sense that this is a more generic representation of our particular market that we're talking about. What I also want to show you here is in the picture styles area, just as we had predefined formatting for text, we have predefined formatting for images. You can see some styles here as the different ways that I might want to portray this image. I like the one here that kind of looks like a Polaroid that you might have thrown out on your desk or on a table. It's got that kind of tilt to it and shadowing. A number of different options that you can definitely choose from as you're working within these images. Let's go ahead and save this. and close this message. So I'm making some headway there. We've got our nice chart, add some smart art diagram, an image to it as well. And so you can see you can begin to make that communication much more visual and much more powerful than just basically a text-based communication. Let's look at a couple of other things here as it relates to working with other people, working more effectively together. Want to talk about conversations. So we've all had these strings of email coming at us, different message conversations that we're having to deal with, and you know what? Sometimes we don't really need to be on those conversations. And you can see here, our company is starting an annual flag football team, and somebody's replying all to this thing, and nobody, I'm not interested. I really don't want to keep getting these emails. Well, this is a conversation. You can see the header across the top. Conversation view is usually on by default, so you're showing these items as conversations. One advantage to that is if you wanted to delete all these emails at once, you could delete the header, just kind of get rid of everything within the conversation. There are some cleanup tools that you can use to clean up the conversation. It will delete kind of redundant messages and just kind of really streamline threads that go on over a long period of time. In the case of this message, I want to ignore it actually because I'm not interested in flag football and everybody keeps replying all to this message. So when I ignore it, I can ignore the conversation. It's basically going to take the whole conversation, move it over to the deleted items, and any messages that come in the future that are related to that conversation, guess where they're going to go? Straight into the deleted items. So I don't have to keep cleaning up that information over and over and over again. I can just do it once, ignore the conversation, and route everything over going forward. Let's take a look at a couple of other elements here of this. We talk about working with other people, communicating with other people. At the bottom of this email message, I want you to see the Outlook social connector. So at the bottom of your reading pane, you're going to see the social connector, and if you click and expand it up, what you see here is basically all the connection points you have with individuals. So I can see other emails from this person, attachments, meetings that we might have, and you also have the opportunity here of connecting this to your social networking sites. So if you have a Facebook account or a LinkedIn account, or if you have a My Site on your SharePoint site, you can connect those things up so that that information is also pulled through the social connector for the people that you're working with. And you also can just simply tuck that social connector back down toward the bottom of the reading pane. Let's take a look at our calendar. A lot of times working together starts over here in our calendar, and you may want to share your calendar with somebody else so that you can have the opportunity to look at each other's schedules. If you click Share Calendar there at the top, it'll open up what we call a sharing request. Now this is powered by Microsoft Exchange Server, and what I'm going to do here is actually just put in someone's name that I want to share with. So we're going to look at Molly Clark. Now Molly was the one I was just looking at her social connector, and she wanted to get together and talk about some things. So in order to do that, I think it helps if we can see each other's calendars and be able to work a little bit more closely together. Now I'm going to request permission to view her calendar at the same time, so we can hopefully get connected very quickly across each other's calendars. When I send this, you'll notice we can decide what type of availability we want to use here as well. And I'm just going to send this out. And as I go back over to my inbox, you can see that Molly accepted my request, and I have a link now also to open her calendar. So she's allowed me to see her calendar. When I click open this calendar, it's going to take me back into my calendar view. You'll see Molly now appears here under my shared calendars, and it opens our schedules side by side so we can actually look at each other's information. And if I click the overlay button here, I can actually lay our calendars on top and be able to kind of see exactly how our day stacks up against each calendar. And you can simply break those back apart again as well. Now if I add additional calendars here, so let's bring in Kim, let's bring in Sanjay, maybe that's my team. Now you'll also notice in certain Exchange deployments that you have a team calendar set up here that when you click it, it just brings on everybody that's within your team. So you have the opportunity of doing that as well within the context of your Exchange server deployment. It kind of depends on the global address list configuration there. Now yeah, I can see these all side by side, right? We could do the overlay that we talked about. But we also have a new view in Outlook 2010 called Schedule View, and it's right up here at the top. If I hit Schedule View, it'll actually kind of lay those out horizontally, and we can get a good sense of what everybody's availability is for having a meeting. And if I click New Meeting up here at the top, you'll see there's an option for New Meeting with All, and it will basically open a request, pre-populate it with everybody whose calendar that I'm viewing here, and it just kind of helps to take a couple of steps out of the process of setting up those meetings. Now, other meetings that you have set up, what I'm going to do here is you can see there's everybody within the context of that meeting request. I did New Meeting with All. But you also have an ability once you've set up that meeting, if you come back in, like here's another meeting I have for budget planning. If I open that meeting, now that that meeting's been set up, you'll notice this OneNote button here at the top. If I hit that, it's going to ask me to pick a notebook and a page of section of notes within my Microsoft OneNote application to link that meeting to. So you'll notice here if I open this up, I'm now in Microsoft OneNote 2010. OneNote is a digital note-taking application, and it's part of the Microsoft Office 2010 family of products. And what you'll see here is all of the information from our meeting request has been brought through, including all the online information here, and a link back to the Outlook item. So if I was within my notes, I can start taking notes on this meeting. It'll link me back and forth from here back over into the actual appointment itself and be able to open that straight up. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of other things as it relates to working with other people, and this kind of ties us into the idea of anywhere access to our work. What I've showed you here kind of is something we would be doing together. We're on the same Exchange server. We're able to schedule meetings, see each other's availability within the context of Outlook, and we're all kind of pulling off that same server information. Now, if you need to share your calendar with somebody that's not on your server, you can do that. You can do it by way of emailing your calendar, and you'll see an item up here for email calendar. It's right next to that share calendar option we talked about earlier. Emailing a calendar will allow you to basically select how much you want to show. So let's do the next 7 days, for example, and again, how much of your availability do you want to show? So in this case, let's do limited details. When I click OK, what you're going to see here is an emailed version of my calendar. You can see all my availability here, free busy over the next 7 days, and I could email this to anybody I needed to. They would be able to see this information, and this snapshot is going to also be an attachment in the message body. So as they pull that over, they can open the snapshot in Outlook, and they can actually bring it down, and they can display the snapshot side by side with their own calendar. So they can basically look at this with their own information, even though they're not on the same Exchange server that I am. I also, in terms of anywhere access to my work, have access to Outlook information in other places. So let's go back into the Backstage view here by clicking the File tab. And you'll notice here that my Outlook web app link is right here for me within the account settings. So if I click that, it will take me to Outlook in the browser, which we call Outlook Web App. And you can see here the goal is to have an experience in the browser that's as much like that desktop experience as possible. So from here, I'm able to look at my inbox information. I'm able to go into my calendar, schedule meetings and appointments, govern my contacts here, as well as that list of tasks as well. I can do all of this within the context of the browser. I also have an options area up here where if I go into my options, I can look at my mailbox capacities. I can turn my out of office on or off, change my password, do a number of other things here within the context of the browser, so that I'm really able to stay productive, stay focused, whether or not I'm on my desktop version, my laptop, my browser, and of course within your mobile device, being able to make a connection. If your device supports Active Sync, if it's a Windows phone or another device that supports Active Sync, you can make that connection to Exchange and get that full experience. All those connection points with your calendar and contacts all brought down to that mobile device. So, in summary, we've looked at several things today for Outlook 2010. I showed you how you can start to bring your ideas to life, not only with the new user interface, making it easier to get access to a lot of these commands and capabilities, but also being able to take email communication and make it more than text. Bring in images, bring in diagrams, really communicate yourself in the richest, best possible way. We talked about working together more effectively, how we govern these conversation threads that we're engaged in, how we use our calendar, things like schedule view, to be able to more effectively look at each other's schedules and get together for those types of collaborative or meeting scenarios that we need to get our job done. And in terms of anywhere access to our work, being able to email our calendar to somebody that's not on our Exchange server, Outlook web app, mobile devices using Outlook Mobile 2010, or connecting other ActiveSync enabled devices to the Exchange server, and being able to pull down all of that information so you're always connected and always up to date. Some links here for you. What you'll notice, the Office 2010 Getting Started. This is the same page I showed you earlier. We talked about getting started, the interactive guides, all of that. This is like a direct link to that information. The Office page, the Outlook page, is going to have top 10 features and things like that available for you as well. And if you'd like to know more about the Office web apps, which are the browser-based versions of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote, office.microsoft.com/webapps is a good place for that, as well as the Office mobile homepage. I hope this was a valuable session for you, that you have some tools that you can use to get started using the new Outlook 2010, and we wish you the best experience with Outlook 2010. Thank you.